Wounded and suffering narcissist, be careful. We're all familiar with the aftermath of bruising a narcissist's ego. They swiftly point the blame at you, convinced that your words or actions are responsible for their distress. But what if the catalyst for their pain isn't you, your family, or anyone within their inner circle? What if it's an external factor like job loss, illness, or the loss of a cherished possession that served as a symbol of their perceived importance and entitlement? How does their treatment of you change, and what impact does it have on you? Let's delve into this intriguing topic in today's episode. Greetings and thank you for tuning in to the Narcissist Exposed. We appreciate your listenership immensely. Today, we're delving into the realm of the sorrowful, wounded, and enraged narcissist, a subject of profound interest. If this piques your curiosity, we invite you to subscribe before we delve into the discussion. Your subscription plays a vital role in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. When an animal is injured, it can become dangerously unpredictable. Why? Because pain often triggers aggression, leading them to lash out, bite, or behave erratically. Consider your own pet. Even if you've shared a bond for 2 decades, accidentally stepping on them can provoke an aggressive response. That affectionate, puppy-like demeanor is swiftly replaced by a ferocious, wolf-like instinct. Similarly, narcissists exhibit a primal response when feeling vulnerable and under attack, shedding their facade to reveal a raw, reactive nature. Their behavior becomes primal, instinctual, and often irrational. The narcissist thrives on specific elements to uphold and nourish their fabricated ego. Among these essentials is their meticulously crafted image, which must be upheld in the eyes of others. Additionally, they crave validation, respect, and adulation from their peers. Being acknowledged within their social circles is paramount to their sense of self-worth. Any disruption to these pillars threatens to dismantle their entire persona, resulting in what I refer to as harm or vulnerability. Curiously, regardless of the cause, they invariably lay blame on you, convinced of your complicity in their downfall. It defies logic, yet their unfounded fear compels them to attribute fault to you, no matter how absurd it may seem. As promised, when adversity strikes, they unleash a torrent of pain upon you, inflicting wounds in every conceivable manner. The aftermath leaves you bloodied and guilt-ridden, as their persuasive demeanor makes their accusations alarmingly believable. Despite your earnest efforts to assist, they recoil, spewing vitriol and slander in your direction. In their distress, they seek solace, yet simultaneously repel your aid, subjecting you to mistreatment and anguish. When confronted with personal setbacks, a debilitating illness, termination from employment, or diminished social standing, they elicit sympathy, prompting you to offer support and comfort. However, their response is paradoxical. They rebuff your overtures, maligning your character and maligning your intentions. They seek solace in your suffering, relishing in your perceived downfall with vindictive glee. In a twisted twist, they rejoice in your anguish, declaring, "See, this is your doing," as if to absolve themselves of any responsibility. It is a perverse cycle of manipulation and deceit, leaving you reeling from their relentless onslaught. Yet, despite their efforts to tear you down, their ultimate demise brings them a perverse sense of satisfaction, leaving you to navigate the wreckage of their chaos. Understanding this behavior can be perplexing, but let me share a glimpse into my own life. When adversity struck my family, particularly concerning my father's health, his reaction was tumultuous. It was my narcissistic mother whom he would unleash his wrath upon, treating her with disdain and cruelty. His actions were unpredictable, often resulting in unwarranted aggression towards my brother and me. We were left bewildered, unable to comprehend the cause of his outbursts. He would withdraw, locking himself away for days on end, refusing sustenance and seething with anger, as though we were somehow to blame. His refusal to accept responsibility for his actions, instead deflecting blame onto others, was both confounding and frustrating. Rather than introspection, he resorted to projection and diversion, convinced of his own innocence. This self-deception shielded him from the shame of acknowledging his faults. I vividly recall a particular instance when my father fell ill after consuming contaminated food. Despite medical intervention, his condition worsened, exacerbating his erratic behavior. He became increasingly withdrawn and passive-aggressive, particularly towards my mother, who attempted to alleviate his suffering through care and nourishment. Yet, his entitlement prevailed, leading him to reject her efforts, convinced she had orchestrated his downfall. He attributed his misfortune to divine retribution, failing to consider the possibility of his own culpability. In hindsight, it becomes apparent that his transformation into a malevolent figure was not solely the result of external factors, but rather a manifestation of his own inherent cruelty. One day he had to visit the doctor. "I don't want you around." He coldly dismissed her when she offered to accompany him. Despite his protests, she insisted that I accompany him, leaving me caught in the middle. During the car ride, on our way to work, he turned to me with a twisted smirk and uttered, "Are you satisfied now? You and your mother should throw a celebration, go on a lavish shopping spree, because I'm falling apart. You've accomplished your mission." His words sent shivers down my spine, leaving me paralyzed with fear. I was at a loss for words, unable to articulate my true feelings. I felt a surge of anger, questioning why I was subjected to this ordeal. He had never been there for me, so why should I be there for him? It was a manifestation of his irrationality, a sickness of the mind. His attempt to shift blame onto us for his misfortune was absurd and illogical. How could we be held responsible for his own reckless actions? It was clear evidence of his distorted thinking, a refusal to acknowledge reality. In the realm of narcissism, reason takes a backseat to delusion. They twist reality to fit their narrative, disregarding facts and logic in the process. When faced with such irrational behavior, one may instinctively try to help and alleviate their suffering. However, this often leads to further mistreatment and blame shifting. It's a stark reminder that dealing with a narcissist comes with its own set of challenges and disappointments. If you find yourself facing a situation like this, here's my advice based on my own experience. When the narcissist faces failure or injury due to circumstances beyond your control, it's best to distance yourself from their drama. Their behavior is often unpredictable, and trying to navigate their reactions can be like walking on eggshells. While you may feel compelled to assist them in some way, it's essential to set boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. Remember, you're not responsible for igniting the flames of their troubles. There's no need to subject yourself to unnecessary harm by inserting yourself into their chaos. No matter how much effort you put into helping them, they'll likely continue to blame you for their woes. It's a vicious cycle where your attempts to mend things only serve as confirmation of their victim mentality. Narcissists thrive on portraying themselves as perpetual victims, and any display of vulnerability is swiftly masked by their rage and refusal to adhere to societal norms. They may reject your aid while simultaneously resenting you for not offering it. It's a lose-lose situation where their demands for help are laced with punishment for your perceived failure to meet their expectations. But they'll surely trap you in a tight spot, making your life incredibly challenging. The same applies to self-centered parents who fall ill. You might find yourself shouldering the burden of caring for them around the clock, especially if they're hospitalized and require constant medical attention. Who loses sleep over this? You do. And what do you get in return? Hurtful accusations hurled at you, labeling you as a disappointment or a mistake. Who says such cruel things? I've heard countless survivors share their heartbreaking and infuriating experiences, leaving me bewildered as to why someone would treat a caregiver so callously. They even go as far as insinuating, "I know your true intentions. You're only doing this for the inheritance. But let me assure you, you won't receive it." It's a stark reflection of their inner darkness. This is how they behave when they're unwell or injured. They seem to forget their humanity, morphing into a monstrous version of themselves. They create chaos, making your life a living hell, and cunningly shifting the blame onto you for things beyond your control. Despite your genuine desire to make things right, they push you away, leaving you feeling sickened, disgusted, and utterly exhausted. I've been in your shoes, so I understand the weight of these emotions. That wraps up today's episode, shedding light on the plight of the wounded, sick, and damaged narcissist. If you resonated with my experiences, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's bring this show to a close. Thank you for tuning in and sticking by my side. Until next time, let the journey of healing continue. Hey there, welcome back to our video. Are you intrigued by delving into the 7 intriguing behaviors narcissists exhibit when you opt to disengage from them? Well, you're in for a treat. This video will delve deeply into each of these actions, offering profound insights, so be sure to stick around till the end. Here on our channel, we provide a comprehensive toolkit for navigating encounters with narcissists, offering expert strategies to handle their unpredictability and ultimately achieve your desired outcomes. If this resonates with you, I highly recommend subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know whenever we release new content or share exciting updates. Now let's dive into the fascinating topic of the 7 typical behaviors narcissists display when you attempt to cut off contact, an approach I wholeheartedly endorse. I've personally encountered narcissists who've compelled me to employ this tactic on multiple occasions. Admittedly, it's neither a pleasant nor an effortless process. The sheer difficulty they pose can make it tempting to avoid taking this step altogether. However, safeguarding your mental and emotional well-being from their manipulative tactics is paramount. To paint a vivid picture, I often liken narcissists to pods, a concept inspired by an old movie. These pods were designed to land near individuals, assimilate their essence, and ultimately usurp their identities. I see narcissists in much the same light, stealthily infiltrating your life, stripping away your essence, and leaving you feeling suffocated. In my own encounters, it felt as though a narcissist was attempting to inhabit my very being, assuming my identity while simultaneously belittling and demeaning me. It was a profoundly disconcerting experience, evoking a sense of mental turmoil. This tumultuous state is typical when dealing with a narcissist, underscoring the importance of self-preservation. While it may seem extreme, establishing boundaries is akin to safeguarding your soul. However, before embarking on this path, it's crucial to anticipate the repercussions. So, let's explore what to expect should you opt for a period of silence and solitude. When a narcissist discovers that you've chosen to cut off communication, they may initially resort to tactics that have proven effective for them in the past. It's crucial to understand that narcissists typically navigate relationships through 3 distinct phases: love bombing, devaluation, and discard. Initially, they embark on the idealization or love bombing phase, making a grand entrance into your life and presenting themselves as the epitome of perfection. This stage aims to ensnare you, fostering the belief that they are the ideal partner or friend. Subsequently, they transition into the devaluation phase, where they gradually diminish your sense of worth, eroding your confidence and self-esteem over time. Finally, they progress to the discard phase, abruptly and callously severing ties without explanation. Upon learning of your decision to cease communication, they may attempt to reignite the love-bombing phase, employing tactics such as professing past successes and highlighting previous accomplishments together. They may question your resolve, employing phrases like, "We've always overcome obstacles," or "Why are you being so stubborn?" Their aim is to charm and entice you back into their orbit, a maneuver often referred to as hoovering. This entails attempting to draw you back into the relationship, akin to the suction of a vacuum cleaner. After a period of silence, they may suddenly reach out, leaving you puzzled as to their motives. Their objective is to regain your attention and re-establish contact after your attempt to sever ties. This is the first insight you should consider if you opt to distance yourself from others. If you inform a narcissist that you no longer wish to engage with them, they might escalate their efforts to assert control over you. Their presence in your life can feel suffocating, leaving you gasping for air under their influence. They may become increasingly intrusive, showing up uninvited at your home or workplace, making it difficult to evade them as they seem to be omnipresent. Integrating themselves into your social circle, they surveil your every move, creating a sense of constant scrutiny. Their incessant calls and texts invade your privacy, demanding your time and attention. Their conversations with others may intensify, amplifying the sensation of being relentlessly pursued. Furthermore, they may resort to heightened deceitfulness, exploiting situations, projecting their own insecurities onto you, denying accountability, shifting blame, or resorting to outright falsehoods. These behaviors are characteristic of narcissists, but upon being rebuffed, they may escalate, exhibiting their typical tendencies with increased intensity. Understanding a narcissist requires recognizing that they view interactions in stark terms of either alignment or opposition. There is no middle ground. Thus, your decision to disengage may be perceived as a challenge to their authority, prompting them to employ even more manipulative tactics, bolstering their efforts to exert dominance. When you opt to distance yourself from a narcissist, the third step they typically take is to initiate triangulation. This tactic often emerges during the discard phase and serves as the starting point for a campaign of deceit. Not content with mere deception, the narcissist may escalate their efforts to exert control over the situation. They enlist their flying monkeys or allies to undermine you through triangulation. These individuals are manipulated into siding with the narcissist, usually after being fed a distorted version of events by the narcissist themselves. The narcissist may approach people within your social circles, spreading falsehoods and rumors designed to tarnish your reputation. Their objectives are manifold. First, to instill in you a sense of isolation and abandonment, leaving you feeling bereft of support. Additionally, they seek to exact punishment for your audacity in cutting ties with them. They endeavor to portray themselves as thriving in your absence, compelling you to rue your decision to sever contact. By orchestrating a campaign to turn your acquaintances against you within shared social circles, they aim to cast doubt on your sanity, stability, or even your moral character. Their ultimate goal is to sow discord and division, further isolating you from your support network. This concerted effort culminates in a comprehensive smear campaign, leveraging isolation, manipulation, and information gleaned from multiple sources. This constitutes the third tactic employed by narcissists when confronted with your decision to cease communication. If any of you have experienced similar situations, We invite you to share your stories in the comments section. Chances are, many of you can relate to this pattern of behavior. Now let's delve into the fourth reaction. This is when the narcissist's wounded pride may be triggered, leading to what we term narcissistic rage. At this stage, they aren't merely attempting to reel you back in, enhance their manipulative tactics, employ multiple strategies, or escalate their behavior. Instead, they are consumed by such intense anger that their demands and threats become even more forceful and menacing. In their fury, they may utter phrases like, "You will obey my commands," "You will return to me," or "You will face consequences." Their rage is often aimed at instilling fear and exerting dominance over you. It resembles the tantrums of a petulant child, albeit manifested by an adult. Interestingly, the narcissist may begin to unravel during this period. Their heightened anger may cause them to slip up and abandon their usual cunning tactics. This often signifies that you are drawing closer to them, and that your efforts to evade them are proving effective. What does this signify? In essence, it indicates that your strategies are beginning to take hold. However, this may also be the juncture where you feel most vulnerable and start doubting your ability to endure. Nevertheless, it's crucial to remain resolute because narcissists frequently exhibit their most egregious behavior just before conceding defeat. In another video, exploring how to rid yourself of a narcissist, I delve deeper into this concept, drawing parallels with a well-known TV series featuring Hugh Grant. The protagonist epitomizes the archetype of a malignant ego, and as his facade begins to crumble, he becomes increasingly prone to error, ultimately leading to his downfall. This brings us to the fifth behavior exhibited by a narcissist when you sever communication, the narcissistic breakdown. When narcissists find themselves under immense stress, they may experience a complete unraveling. Their facade crumbles, leaving them disoriented and unable to make sense of the world around them. This stems from their fragile sense of identity and their perception of the world as a perilous place where survival reigns supreme. Consequently, when their usual tactics fail them, they may suffer a total breakdown, exposing the vulnerabilities beneath their carefully constructed exterior. This psychological state is commonly referred to as the narcissistic breakdown. The sixth repercussion of ceasing communication with a narcissist is their quest for alternative narcissistic supply. If you adhere to your plan effectively, building up strong defenses and severing their access to all sources of narcissistic gratification, they will ultimately depart from your life. To achieve this, it's vital to display no signs of fear or submission. Narcissists thrive on such emotions, and when they realize they can no longer elicit them from you, they understand that you no longer serve their agenda. Much like scavengers, narcissists constantly seek opportunities to exploit others. Once they realize that you can offer them no more sustenance and your well has run dry, they will search for a new, self-serving source of supply. This perpetual need for validation and affirmation fuels their inflated sense of self-importance and validates their perceived worth. Thus, your primary objective should be to cut off their access to narcissistic supply. By refusing to engage with them, you deprive them of this essential nourishment, compelling them to seek it elsewhere. When they realize they can no longer exert control or manipulate you, they will be forced to move on, affording you the opportunity to heal and embark on a fresh start. Now onto the seventh reaction. They may resort to familiar tactics in an attempt to win back your affection and attention, particularly if you've maintained distance from them for a while. The narcissist might strategically resurrect behaviors or situations that once garnered your admiration or joy. This could involve revisiting old memories, revisiting meaningful locations, or even reenacting gestures or phrases that previously elicited positive responses from you. Their aim is to evoke nostalgia and prompt you to reminisce about the pleasant times shared, thereby sowing seeds of doubt regarding your decision to distance yourself from them. They possess an intimate understanding of your vulnerabilities and are adept at exploiting them to regain control over you. To execute this strategy effectively, they rely on their knowledge of your preferences, dislikes, triggers, and deepest insecurities. They might attempt to emulate the person you initially fell for, concealing their negative traits behind a charming and amiable facade. However, this situation could also serve as an opportunity for you to fortify yourself further and distance yourself from their detrimental influence. If they resort to such tactics, it's a blatant indication of their desire to regain control over you. It's paramount for you to remain vigilant and cautious at this juncture. Recall the reasons why you opted not to reach out to them initially. Their behavior poses a direct threat to your mental well-being and autonomy, even if it appears innocuous or comforting initially. In the seventh maneuver, they endeavor to destabilize you and lure you back into a toxic relationship by resurrecting past behaviors and exploiting your emotional vulnerabilities. And that's a wrap. If you found value in this content, please click the like button and consider sharing this video. Your feedback is invaluable to me, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, each day presents a fresh opportunity to sculpt your ideal life. Until next time, take care